Okay, hello. Alright, we are back again for some more The Way We All Go. Alright, here we're back at the house. We spent our day with one of our friends the other time. Yeah, we spent quite a bit of time with her. A lot more time than we thought, and we got to meet another character, and she's an odd one. I think we'll probably end up seeing her again. So, let's start this up here. When I get back, it's already starting to get late. I talk to my grandparents for a while, then sit down for another family meal. Grandma really is pulling out all the stops now that I'm back with them. The meals aren't exactly extravagant or complicated, but the quality of food really is ridiculous. Quantity. I think I'm gonna do an awful read again. I think last time I was. Did Mother tell her I was particularly glutinous before I came back here? Maybe she's playing a practical joke on me, trying to pay me back for the time I accidentally overwatered her beloved gardenings. I hope you like it, dear. Miss Tachibana brought over those spring onions, you know. She grew them in her garden. Ah, Miss Tachibana. I remember her. She used to be my teacher, the only teacher in the whole school. Damn, only teacher in the whole school? He did say he was a really tiny school. But, you know, having a small school, or even as small as I've mentioned before, has its positives. A more intimate one-on-one moment with your, teachers and everything, because pretty much there's not as many people. I mean, she can work more independently with each student better. If you think about most, depending on where you live, some classes have 30 plus students sometimes. It's like, that teacher can't help everybody. 30 plus students, and that is just in one class in one period. Then you got even more students. Depends on how big your school is, that can get quite large. It's not like you got time for everybody. There are advantages to that. As my grandmother talks fondly of our neighbors, I start to feel the color rising in my cheeks. I'm starting to blush. It's kind of embarrassing, but when I was younger, I maybe just a little, I had a tiny bit of crush on her. I wonder what she looks like now. You haven't seen her in, 2 years? Many things can change in 2 years. I eat my food with a red face, staring down peacefully at the floor. Noticing my discomfort, my grandmother laughs. I wonder if she knows. Even though I never told her about my childhood crush, I wouldn't put it past her. And that woman knows everything. Come on, dear, eat up. Let's put some more meat on those bones. Thanks, but I sigh. I'm not really hungry. That might be the case, dear, but this is for your own good. You're too skinny, is that what she's trying to say? It's like, you gotta put some meat on those bones, man. You are way too skinny. You're gonna break. If you eat my delicious, rejuvenating food, you'll never grow old. Oh, really? Well, hey, she must be doing something. Because I think, she's like 80 or something? She seems to be doing quite well for her age. And that's how I've maintained my good looks over the years. And besides, she smiles at me craftily, if you eat a lot, you'll become even handsomer. And then you'll have all the girls chasing after you. Hey, I don't think he really has any issues with the girls. He has quite a few friends that are female, so I don't think he really would have any issues getting girls. If he really wanted to get more intimate with some of the girls that are actually his friends, or try to, I don't think he would actually have a problem. Grandma, I'm too young to think about that kind of thing. Oh, you're not too young, dude. Well, you're 16? You're not too young. Oh, even Grandpa's joining in. A likely story. I got married to Chio here when she was only 17, and I haven't regretted it since. Holy shit, they've been married a long time. You don't see that as much nowadays, people getting married at a younger age. Myself, I'm not married. I have my own reasons for that. Too young indeed. I don't think it's too young. But I'm not even 17 yet, so that's still far too early. Hey man, it's not like you go meet a girl and marry her right away. Oh, I've only known this chick for a month. We're getting married. Think you might be making a bad decision, dude. How about you get to know her a little bit more than only a month? That would be my thing. I'd be like, if you really want to jack up your life later, you're probably raising up the probability of that when you're only known her for a month. It's never too early to start planning ahead. The early bird catches the worm. I don't know if I should think about girls as worms. And I don't think you should start counting your chickens before they've hatched either. Yes. You just have to do your best. Your grandma will be rooting for you. I appreciate that sentiment, but rooting me in what? Well, you know, this old woman hopes to live to see the birth of some cute great-grandchildren one day, you know? Damn, if you're 80, whew, he's got to do it within the next, 5-10 years at least. Well, because I don't know how old you're going to make it, but you're getting up there. She does seem like she's probably in well shape and health-wise. She might even be able to make it to 100. But she is in her final stages of life. Her life is getting pretty much there of ending. Great-grandchildren? Yes. I've started to knit some little socks already. Oh shit, gee. It's the only thing that keeps me going. It'd be nice to have some little nippers around again. You're getting so old already. I'm not old. Damn it. Whoops. I didn't mean to go back to the menu there. I can't even drink yet. You're not as cute as you used to be. What the fuck? You're not as cute as you used to be. The girls aren't as interested in you anymore. But I'm only 16. Hey! It would use up far too much wool if I tried to knit your socks now, at your age. A frail old lady such as myself might need a loafer before she could finish a single pair. I'm not sure if I describe my grandmother as frail. Even though she is around 80, she's as energetic as a small child passing notes and giggling in class. Both of your grandparents seem to be in quite well, health-wise. For Chio's sake, you'll have to do your best, lad. Oh, why do old people like to tease their grandchildren so much about marriage? Are they really so starved for drama that they have to resort to something that cruel? Why can't they just watch TV soap operas like everyone else? Some of them are really good. It just isn't fair at all. It's not fair, he says. It's not fair. Why do they have to tease me? I don't know. The fresh air feels good. I breathe in deeply. Although it sounds cliche, the air in the country really does feel more refreshing than the air in the city. Well, I think it might be because it is a little more fresher. There's not as much pollution and everything in the air. Maybe that's why my grandparents still act like children. Honestly, teasing me like that? It's dark outside. I think it must be around 8 or 9 p.m. Not entirely sure. There are no large roads that run through this small village. As such, there's no need for street lamps. And that means when it starts to get dark here, it gets really dark. One would think it unsafe to wander around at night, the only visibility coming from the moon. But that isn't really true. Because so few people live here and everybody knows everyone else, the environment is safe. And that makes sense. That's one of the advantages to a small community. You basically know everybody else, and if something does happen, well, it's either going to be someone who's passing by or through, or a stranger. Or it's a lot easier to get down, and maybe it's one of the other ones. Mostly likely, who they would think would be doing it would be a stranger, because it'd be like, why would one of our own do that? It's always possible that someone like that could, but I think it also is a deterrent for anyone of doing anything, because well, the possibility of who it might be is pretty small. And pretty much if they do find out it's you, yeah, no one's going to want to deal with you. You're going to be shunned by the whole entire community. Either you got to move away, or you just got to put up with no one wanting to do business with you. I don't feel any particular worry. In actuality, I was feeling more concerned sitting in the living room with my grandparents, being teased about great-grandchildren in tiny, knitted socks for tiny newborn feet. I shudder. I know my grandparents got married when they were only 17, but I can't imagine starting a family that young. I do have my friends back in the city, Saki, Miho, and you now, but I wouldn't consider marrying them. But those are all girls. See, he's never had any issues with girls. He has, back in the city, he has some friends that are girls. Back here in the village, he's had friends that are all girls. I don't think he's had any real issues. If he really wanted to, he could probably get close to any of those girls. Most of them probably... They probably wouldn't mind him. He seems like a nice enough person. The thought hadn't even crossed my mind. I think that it hasn't crossed your mind because you haven't been thinking about that. You know, you're like, oh, marriage is many, many, many years away. I haven't thought about that. More importantly, I'm sure none of them would want to marry me either. You never know. I can't think of anything particularly attractive about me that would make me appealing to girls, and I'd be more surprised than anything else if one of my female friends did decide to confess to me. In fact, I'd probably assume it was all some kind of joke. Then there's Amu. I like her a lot. I always have done. And we've known each other ever since we were little. I always have done? I don't know, that sounds wrong. I always have done. Maybe done's not even supposed to be there. You like her a lot and you always have. Maybe that's what it's trying to say. Done doesn't just seem weird, like a weird word to throw in there. I always have done. You always have? That's all I can think. I think there's an extra word there. Confusing me on what it might be trying to say, if it otherwise just saying I always have. But thinking about that seems kind of strange. It is true that I like her, but I've known her for far too long. She feels like a sister to me. I'm sure if Amu knew I was seriously considered being in a relationship with her, she'd just laugh in my face. I wouldn't put it past her. Of laughing in your face, but I don't think she would have any issues with it. And then there's Noella. No way. But the moment I think this, I start to feel guilty. I have to reprimand myself verbally, shaking my head at my own thoughts. It is true that Noella was my closest friend for a very long period of time, but that is something I don't want to think about. After a few moments of musing, trying to force my brain to think about something less embarrassing than potential wives, I come to my senses. Your grandparents gave this to you in your mind, didn't they? It's like, now I'm thinking about all the girls who are my friends with me. Which, it basically gave him the thought, oh, maybe one of them would be a nice wife. I realize, without being really conscious of my own actions, that I've ended up here. I've arrived at a small wooden building, separated from the rest of the village by fields and trees. It's a worn, ramshackle structure that stands all alone, seeming to creak and moan in the wind. It's the school. The only school in the village. My old school, elementary, middle, and high school combined. In the gathering dark, With the pale moon beginning to rise, the building looks like something from a ghost story. Eerie, sinister. I shiver, a cold wind shaking up my spine through my jacket. I didn't notice before, but it's getting pretty chilly. Maybe that's why I can't hear the cicadas. It's too cold for them, so they're all hiding. It makes the atmosphere feel strangely melancholy, as though something vital is missing. Huh. I don't really like being here. It's making me feel uneasy. I want to go back. I turn around, ready to retrace my steps, when... Huh? I hear it. It's a faint creaking sound, carried over some distance. If I were in a horror movie, this would be the noise that would signal my impending demise at the hands of some apparition from hell. Well, I wouldn't be scared in a small city, in a small village like this. If you know everybody around, why would you be scared? There's not as much reason to be scared because you wouldn't be. I just don't think there would be a big reason, unless they were like ghost stories or something about certain things in the village being haunted. Then maybe. But if there wasn't any type of story like that, or any of that story about the surrounding area or anything like that, then I don't see a real reason of being scared about, your little tiny, village. Because you basically would know everything. It'd just be somebody, a neighbor or somebody maybe out. It'd be like, oh no, someone's gonna kill me. However, even though I'm easily startled, I do know better than that. Although I don't like ghost stories, I'm sensible enough not to believe in them. Even though as a child I did used to check in my wardrobe for monsters every night before I went to bed. It isn't a completely alien noise. In fact, I recognize it. When I was younger, it was a sound I heard a lot. It's the sound of a swing. One of those metal swings. It's been forever since I've been on a swing. I used to love swinging when I was younger. But it's been years. I haven't even, sat in a swing or any of that stuff. There's a little park close by, and, maybe one of these days, if I'm ever over there, because sometimes we have family goes out there and has a picnic on the picnic tables and stuff from time to time. Maybe I should hop on one of the swings they got there. To be more precise, it's the sound of the old, rusty swing situated in the small playground around the back of the school. That playground, overgrown with grass and flowers, was where I used to play during break time at school. Even though it only contained a few swings and a slide, I still found it fun. Because there was so little playground equipment, a lot of the bigger children would get there first, shoving the younger ones out of the way. I remember, during that time, the 12-year-old Amu was remorseless. She would shout at the older kids and threaten to hit them, so that they ran away in fear. Oh shit, she was able to scare the older kids off. That way, the younger children could play. I think the little kids saw Amu as some kind of hero because of her exploits. That really does take me back. But who is playing on those swings at night? I bet it's one of the kids from the village. Though, they can't be too young, or else they wouldn't be allowed by themselves. Wouldn't it be funny if it's one of his friends, the one he's been looking for, that wasn't at that house? That's what I'm seeing that it might come down to. Even though this village is relatively safe, no parent would want their child out by themselves in the cold. Not at this time. So, who could it be? Maybe it's Noella. We haven't met her yet, so she's going to pop up at some point in time. I'm wondering if it's like her. That would be something if it was. I'm curious. So we're going to go check. Silently, I walk around the back of the school building. I take great care when I place my feet, trying not to make any noise. I don't know why, but I feel kind of excited. And also a little bit scared. My heart pounds in my chest. My thoughts tick over quickly, running through a list of possibilities. Maybe it's a monster going to go, I would eat her. Maybe it's a ghost. Ooh, it's a ghost spirit. Oh, he says maybe it is a ghost after all. The ghost of a young child, playing on a swing in the middle of the night under the full moon. Well, why would it be a ghost of a young child? Has a young kid died in this area before? mean, I'm assuming it probably has at some point in time. But death can't be too common. If it's a small village, you would know when there was one. It spread around the village probably pretty quickly. Someone's child died. Yeah, right. As if I'd believe in something like that. I creep over to the small park quietly. The wind rustles through the long grass, the surrounding trees. An owl hoots overhead. I walk closer, closer, and closer. And then my breath catches in my throat. Is that Noella? It's a girl we haven't seen yet. On the rusty swing, moving back and forwards through the air, I see her. A figure with pale skin shining under the moonlight. She's pretty cute. She's wearing a white dress, sleeveless, far too exposing for this weather, surely. Her arms are long and slender. Even at a distance, they look too thin, worryingly so, as though they could snap in two at the slightest bit of pressure. Her white skirts billow out around her bare legs. Her hair flutters around her shoulders, caught in the wind as she moves back and forth. With each movement, I can hear it, the sound of the old swing set creaking in protest. Well, who is she? Do you know her? An eerie kind of wail, mixing with the sound of the wind. It's describing the whole movement. I want to know who the hell it is. Is it someone he knows or not? She really does look like a ghost. He must not, because he would have mentioned it by now. It must be some girl he doesn't know. Dressed entirely in white, with that pale hair and pale skin. One could be forgiven for letting out a cry of alarm, taking an involuntary step backwards out of fear, their hearts stopping in their chests, eyes widening in surprise. I want to know who this mysterious girl we've just seen is. The ghost girl, playing on the swing in the darkness under the full moon. An aesthetic experience that would make for a beautiful photograph of a frightening campfire story. But I know it isn't true. This is no ghost. Even at a distance, even after 2 years, I know her. So he does know her. Okay. Noella, is that who it is? I recognize her face almost as quickly as I could recognize my own in a mirror. It's Noella. Okay, so it is Noella. We do know her. It took a long time to go, because he's describing the whole situation to us in quite detail. That it took forever to tell him that he knows her. I don't think she's seen me. She's still swinging back and forth, like a metronome. Should I go up to her? Hell yeah, man! You've been wanting to talk to her earlier. This is your chance to actually have a conversation with her. Do it, man. But what would I say? It's been 2 years. Well, she was your best friend, from my understanding. Go talk to her. Stop being a little chicken. 2 whole years. Well, that's a long time. Will she forgive me? If you guys were friends, and you were as close as you probably seemed like you were, I think she would forgive me. I mean, it's not like you killed someone that was close to her to ruin her family. She might not be as forgiving right away, maybe not, but I don't think she would hate you, man. She kind of has a lonely look on her face. Maybe she'll be happy. Maybe you'll give her a smile on her. Do I deserve to be forgiven? I still want to know what the hell he did. We haven't come to the conclusion on what the hell he's done to feel that he's being hated by her. I really want to know what the hell he's done. Is she angry? Is she upset? Does she feel betrayed? The only thing I can think is like he left without actually saying goodbye. It's the only thing that comes to mind. Or worst of all, does she feel indifferent? Does she no longer care for me at all? She certainly won't be the same girl who used to hide behind my back clinging to my shirt. Too much time has passed. But she's still Noella. She's still my best friend. No matter how much time passes. that will never change. Right? Well, friendships can separate. Tell you the truth, I don't have any contact with any of my people from high school anymore. I've moved on from the high school world, or even college. They weren't. But if that's really true, why is my heart pounding so hard? You're probably nervous as hell, man. I mean, you're thinking about whether she's gonna forgive you or not. So of course you're gonna be nervous of approaching her because you have a worry. You're worried about something I personally think is kind of dumb. Well, I guess maybe it's not as dumb as we might think because we don't know what the reason why. What did he do to her to make him think that he shouldn't be forgiven, or maybe forgiven or not? We're gonna approach her. We're not gonna be checking. Come on, be brave, man. Approach her. Hey, what are you even thinking? As if you can just turn around and leave now. I muttered this under my breath, speaking harshly as though trying to chastise myself. I was wondering who the hell he was talking to. I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? I can't turn around and leave. Not now. I know this. Even though I still feel nervous. But I can't let that worry get the better of me. I've been worrying about this for far too long. I need to move forward. The sound of my footsteps, weak and hesitant, mingle with the noise of the swing creaking in the breeze. My heart feels heavy, as though it's made of lead, and dragging my body down. But I don't succumb. I can't. If I gave up now, what would she think? She would probably hate me more than she does already. I can't afford to let her down. Not again. I don't want to betray her expectations. With this thought in mind, I entered the park. It's eerie, lit only by the light of the moon. I've only ever been in here during the day before. Although I've known these friendly, familiar surroundings ever since I was little, they seem strange now. Foreboding. Almost like an alternate reality. I make my way over to the rusty old swing set and sit down on the spare swing beside Noella. By this point, she must have seen me. Either that or she's totally zoned. She has a very lonely look to her. Either that or she's really thinking about something at the moment. There's no way she couldn't. But she doesn't say anything. Well, you gotta make the first, if she doesn't say anything, you gotta make the first, start the conversation. See if she replies. She just continues to swing, back and forth, back and forth. Her eyes look misty and far away. Her pale hair shimmers in the moonlight. I can't help but think, even now, this must be some kind of mirage. It's all a dream. If I were to reach out and touch her, I feel as though my fingertips would poke right through her, out the other side. In that case, if it's a dream, it doesn't matter what I say. Summoning my courage, even though my heart is beating so fast it's a wonder it doesn't leap out of my mouth, I start to talk. After 2 years, I introduce myself anew. Hey, Noella? It's me. My voice is quiet, but she still hears me. Seeming to snap out of her trance, she turns her head to one side, ever so slightly. Her eyes meet mine. They're large, light blue, lined with long lashes. She doesn't look surprised. Her expression doesn't flicker. Instead, she merely nods, a very slight acknowledgement as though I'm an old acquaintance. Another meaningless person. But at least she stops swinging. Her motions come to a halt. The grinding, creaky noise dies down, swallowing by the sounds of the night, sound of the wind. Somehow, without that noise, the atmosphere starts to feel even more tense. Although I found that sound grating now, I almost wish I had it back. That Noella was still swinging. Then the rapid thud, thud, thud of my heartbeat wouldn't sound so stupidly loud. Noella? Adventure again, my voice shaking. I do think that, the background pictures that we've seen of the characters and some of these ones right here, I think they're done by different artists because the style seems slightly different. They don't seem exactly the same. To tell you the truth, I prefer the other one. In response, she nods her head. It's really you. She gives me another nod. It's a very slight motion, one that could be easily missed, but I catch it out of the corner of my eye. Noella was always like this. Quiet. Do you recognize me? Ah-chan? Her voice is soft. She doesn't use my real name. Instead, it's that nickname. The one Amu coined for me in childhood, which stuck ever since. Somehow it feels very nostalgic. And very warm. Yeah. It's me. Ah-chan. You came back. Just for a little while, but I came back. I was still thinking of you the whole time, though. I missed you. Ah-chan. Ah-chan. Noelle looks at me with her large, light blue eyes. Some people say that her intense gaze is disturbing, but I never thought that. The silence encircles us. It takes Noelle a short while to piece together her thoughts and feelings. That's hardly surprising. It has been a long time since we last saw each other. A small smile, barely visible. And that looks better. You gave her a little smile. I don't think she's mad at you, she's giving a smile. Begins to bloom on her lips. Ah-chan, welcome home. The two of us sit there for a while, neither saying a word. The cold wind brushes against my skin, making me shudder. It takes me a while before I can find the words, dredging them up out of my head into my mouth. They're words I should have said long, long ago. Noella? I'm sorry. Huh? Why are you sorry? I don't understand. You don't? No. Then you're not angry at me? Why should I be angry? Because I winch. See? He was stressing about all of that, thinking that she'd be angry. And she doesn't even have... It didn't feel like... See? She's not angry at you, man. This, in my opinion, probably get like a big load off his chest, in my opinion. Be like, oh my. She's not angry at me. Because I left you. You were so important to me, but I still left. Well, you didn't have much choice in that matter. Didn't your family move? I mean, you could have said all you wanted and not wanting to move, but it's not really your fault of leaving. I don't think you're the one who wanted to leave. It was your parents who wanted to leave and you had to go along because, well, I guess they could have maybe left you with your grandparents, but I doubt most parents would be like, we're just going to leave you with your grandparents. No, I think, if they really cared about you, they would want you to come along with them, and there's nothing wrong with experiencing something new. I don't know why did it take, I don't know how far he is away from where he lives and everything, but Japan's not that big. When you think about it, living here in the United States and you travel, so a lot of people travel. It's not, most of the thing about traveling anywhere, it's not really distance when I think about it. It comes down to time. And you take time off to do it, because it takes time to get there, then you want to spend time, and then it takes time to get back. I know, but I'm not angry. Really? Yeah. It isn't your fault that your parents moved away. See? She's understanding, man. Why should I blame you for that? Because even though we were always so close, I was scared and worried you would be upset. I didn't want to hurt you. I was a coward. I was weak and I never told you. That's right. The reason I feel so guilty is because of that. I never told my best friend I was leaving. I thought that's what it was. I had a feeling that, this whole entire time, that the reason he was feeling guilty on anything is he never told her. Which I really do think, that is something that maybe he should feel a little down about, never actually telling her that she was leaving. He was leaving. That does suck right there. You all of a sudden get up and leave. But you never know, maybe she noticed. Your other friends must have known, and maybe she overheard, so she knew, but she never mentioned anything. One day I was there, eating lunch with her at school, and doing our homework together. And the next, I was gone. I told everyone else, but do you really think, that she might not have overheard anything? You have a small community. Maybe she knew, just because you never actually told her yourself. Didn't mean she didn't know. The one person I didn't tell was the one person who would care the most. And it was all because I was a coward, far too afraid to see her unhappy. Too afraid to break the bad news. I really am. The worst. Don't you feel betrayed? Everything and everyone has to change at some point. And nothing stays the same forever. But you were angry, right? Weren't you angry? Lil tilts her head to one side, lips parted in a small O. Do you want me to be? I don't think she's angry right there. If she's asking the question, do you want me to be angry? I don't think she's angry, man. I don't think she was angry. I think that maybe she probably felt a little sad. But anger? Maybe not. And maybe missed you some. Of course not, but then I won't be. I don't like being angry. It doesn't even ever change anything. It only makes things more difficult. It's a pointless emotion. But whether it has a point or not, I think that after what I did to you, you have a right to feel just a little bit angry. Well, it doesn't mean she has to feel angry, but she can feel sad about it. You don't have to be angry just because you're sad about something. It doesn't mean you have to be angry about it as well. And maybe she felt a little sadness that you left. Doesn't mean she has to be mad about it. Maybe I did feel a little bit sad. See? Sad. And that's totally understandable. Your best friend leaves. Of course you're gonna miss them. Feel a little sad. But not angry. That's right. Sad? That our fun times came to an end so quickly. It was upsetting. I'm sorry. I didn't want to make you sad. It's alright. I'm not sad anymore. Why not? The cold breeze runs through the park, making me shudder. The hem of Noelle's skirt ripples like ocean waves. She always did dressed in white, didn't she? Because you came back. You came back to me and said sorry. So, there's no reason to be sad. She's pretty understanding. I like her already. She seems like a very nice girl. Not anymore. And with these words, Noella smiles at me. It's a gentle smile, devoid of malice. The two of us sit together for a while in companionable silence, under the moon. The rusty equipment of this old park is bathed under the silver light from the moon, making the mundane look eerie and haunting. This really does feel like some kind of fantasy. The sharp feeling of metal against my bare fingers helps to keep me grounded. The cold burrows into my flesh, making my fingers spasm. Aren't you cold? I mean, compared to probably how you're dressed, that would be a really good question. I mean, I doubt that her dress is very thick, cloth-wise. Not really. You sure you don't want my jacket? I'm sure. But you're wearing a sleeveless dress. That can't be comfortable, can it? Maybe she's used to it. I mean, she lives in this area. You know, you think about it, you know, some people in some places, you know, you bring up somebody from down south to where I live, further up north, they'll probably be like, oh, it's only 40 degrees out, you're not wearing a coat. I don't even wear a coat in the winter. The only thing I wear in the winter is, unless I'm out for a long period of time. If it's just a short period of time, I don't even wear a coat. I just wear a hoodie. No need for no damn jacket. I'm used to it. People can get used to a lot of things. Yeah, I guess that's true. I did move to the city after all. I don't think I'd like to live in a city. I don't know if you'd say that if you could see the convenience stores out there. And you could buy almost anything you want, all around the clock. Isn't that amazing? Anything? Yeah, anything. Even those Jello drinks you like so much. Jello! Do they do all kinds of different flavors? Yeah, all different kinds. Well, they're big convenience stores, you know? Really? Really? Well, it isn't a lie. Why would I lie about something so trivial? Noella leans forward on the seat of her swing. It creaks as she does so. There's a strangely happy expression on her face, one that I never usually see. Even her cheek looks a little flushed. Is there even strawberry jello? Of course there is. Well, that's a common flavor. And melon? Yes. Wow! And grapefruit, and kiwi, and apple, and millet, and grape, and bean paste. I wonder what bean paste tastes like. And blueberry, and coffee, and pineapple, and passion fruit, and lemon, and plum. You're just a little. It's like, oh, do they have this and that? Do they have that? What about that flavor? This one. I think I didn't hear every single thing you said, but, probably. And yet, despite my lackluster reply, Noelle seems satisfied. And with a dreamy sigh, she smiles brightly. Wow! That's amazing! Yeah, convenience stores really are amazing. If you live in the city, you don't need to walk 40 minutes into the next town just to get some Jello. But what an age we're living in. It really is convenient, huh? Hence the term convenience store. But that's no good. It's no good at all. Huh? What's no good about it? I thought you were excited by all the Jello. I am excited by the Jello. All girls love Jello. I don't know if that's true, but I don't interrupt. Well, I would say most probably do, or many. You can't really speak for all. There's probably a few out there who don't. With how many people are out there in the world, there's probably some who do not. But if the store that sells this Jello is only a few minutes away, then buying it wouldn't be as much fun. Oh, shit, that's what you're talking about. It wouldn't be as much fun. If it's only a few minutes away, well, you can't just have fun going there. I guess that does have something to say, I guess. She has a point there, somewhat. You have more free time if you don't have to spend so much time traveling. But, yeah, if you have to walk a long way to buy something, you feel like you've tried hard. So it's okay to reward your effort with a treat. But if your goal is only 5 minutes away, because you can buy a lot of Jello whenever you want, it would feel less special. Less special, huh? Well, she does have a point there. If your objective is where you're going to get something, and you can only go there so many times, you can't just go there whenever you want, it would kind of feel a little bit more special. You'd also be like, okay, we can only carry so much back. So we gotta be a little more price on what we're going to get as well. A little more picky. Yes. Things have the most worth if you can't have them all the time, whenever you want them. It makes you appreciate them more. Ah, I'm surprised to hear you say that, considering how much you love that Jell-O. But it is precisely because I love the Jell-O that I don't eat it every day. So it continues to feel special. Special. Well, that's a nice way of seeing it. Yes, just like our meeting right here. This is also special. It might be more special than all of our other meetings put together. Really? But we haven't spoke about anything important. It doesn't matter. Because it's been such a long time. It's special. But even if you say that, I'm leaving in 2 days. We're not going to have much time to be together. I expect Noella to be upset by this news. This is our first reunion after 2 years, and I don't know when I'll be able to see her next. Shouldn't that make her sad? It definitely makes me sad. However, Noella's reply is strange. It isn't what I expected at all. 2 days is still enough. It's plenty. Huh? I mean, the fact that our time together is short. We could feel sad about it, we could get angry, we could cry, but that wouldn't create happy memories. To be happy, we should recognize that it is precisely because our time together is short, and that it becomes even more precious. I listened to Noelle's voice, letting it wash over me like a wave. I think I'm starting to understand. She's doing her best to find happiness in unhappy circumstances. With her way of thinking, she's able to take things that should be sad and regard them in such a way that it brings her joy instead. She really is a strong person, isn't she? She's far stronger than I am. Do you understand what I mean? It might be a little too complicated. Maybe. No, I think I get it. It's like the Jell-O, right? If you can eat the Jell-O all the time, you take it for granted. But if you only have it every once in a while, it tastes even more delicious. That's right. That's exactly right. Even though I was sad when you left, maybe it was for the best. The best? Yes. That is because it stopped me from taking you for granted. And it made me realize just how much you mean to me. Noella says this simply, without a trace of embarrassment. She's never been the type of person to get embarrassed. She just states what she thinks. I, on the other hand, start to go red. I want to reply to her honest feelings. I want to tell Noella that her friendship, or rather her presence, her existence, means a lot to me. That might be a little too forward, though. Maybe Noella would read too much into it, or... maybe I'm the one reading too much into it. I don't know. I'm gonna say right there, you really mean a lot to me too. But even though I meant it earnestly, I can't help but blush as I say such an embarrassing line. I'm just not cut out for flattering ladies. I'm nothing like my grandfather when he was young. Even though we're related, our blood is completely dissimilar. I guess I won't be honoring my grandparents' request for great-grandchildren time soon. What are you thinking about, Achan? Huh? I blink at Noella in alarm, my mouth flapping open like a fish. It's fairly rare for Noella to laugh, so the fact that she started giggling must mean I look exceptionally stupid. Your face has gone a strange color. I'm curious. It's nothing really. Are you sure? I'm sure. I just feel a little hot. It's getting a little hot in here, he says. Hot? But weren't you saying you were cold earlier? How mysterious. Yes, it really is mysterious. Life is full of surprises. Noella continues to giggle to herself. Even though the source of her laughter is my own stupidity, I'm not unhappy about it. Seeing Noella laugh like this, with a genuine smile on her face, makes me happy too. It takes Noella a few moments to get her giggle under control. Once they're subsided, she starts to look a little guilty, an earnest expression on her face. She looks kinda like a little kid who's been scolded. I'm sorry. Was I being mean? No, it's okay. It wasn't mean. It seems kinda mean, since you were being so kind to me, Anne. It's nothing really. But you've always been kind to me, from the moment I met you. And that matters a lot to me. It does. My face starts to flush red again. My cheeks burn. At least it's one way of keeping warm in this cold weather, but... Thank you, Acha. Even though I was rude and laughed at you, I really am glad that you like me. Truly. It makes me feel happy. Then, I start to stammer. You just can't do it. I think in this kind of situation, it'd look good if I said something cool, like, don't worry about it, darling. Or, it's fine, baby doll, but... Oh, both of those sound stupid, man. Don't worry about it, darling. I think the baby doll one sounds even stupider. But, that sounds... I think you should just leave out the darling and baby doll part. Then it would sound alright. Otherwise it just makes them sound dumb. That's my opinion. That sounds far too sleazy. The mere thought of saying something like that is so embarrassing. I think my head might explode. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this, and I'm not cool enough to receive compliments so easily. What an odd thing to say. You're funny, Acha. I wasn't trying to be funny. Don't worry. I like the uncool you the most. It suits you. That's just the way you are. Oh, thank you. Wait, what? Did she just make fun of me? No, she just said that she likes the uncool you. She thinks that the way you are, not trying to act the way you're not, is perfectly fits you fine. That's all she's saying. She's saying you don't have to act cool. I'm not really that uncool, am I? It's not a bad thing to be uncool. It's part of your identity. It's who you are. You'll smile at me with the sweetness of a slice of angel cake. But behind that expression, there's something else. Although it looks so pretty, deep down inside, underneath all that artful applied icing, the cake has started to go stale. She's teasing me, isn't she? Being made fun of by somebody wearing such a pure and beautiful expression is pretty depressing. I've been completely defeated. Was that a KO? Yeah. It was a real ring out, with only 10 seconds left on the clock. I was that strong? You really were. It was a very powerful technique. Completely unparalleled. Yay! Just playing along. You demon. Noella giggles, her smiling face bathed under the milky light of the moon. Despite our rekindled closeness, I still feel anxious. I'm filled with nervous energy. I don't know what to do with it. My feet start tapping against the floor, my grip tightening around the cold metallic chains that support the swing. Inadvertently, I remember Noelle's home from earlier, when I went to visit. I remember the darkened windows, the gloomy atmosphere, the for sale sign in the front garden. What's going to happen to Noella? Hey, Acha? Noella's voice, soft and gentle, carries through the wind, drawing me out of my thoughts. Acha? Are you alright? Yeah, I'm okay. I was just thinking. What were you thinking about? You look sad. I'm not sad. I'm just confused. Confused? But why? It's just... I went to try and visit your home earlier today, and You did? I didn't see you. I know. You weren't in. Your parents' car wasn't in the driveway. Oh, yes. There might have been something like that. And I noticed, in your garden there was a sign. A sign saying your house is for sale. Yes, and there might also be something like that. Her voice trails off. She doesn't elaborate. Is this something she doesn't want to discuss? It sounds like it might be. Maybe something she's not the most happy about. Maybe she doesn't want to move. If that's the case, maybe I should drop it. Talk about something else. Anything else. What else? But just as I begin to open my mouth, unexpectedly, Wells starts talking. She speaks in a rush, not using typical measured tones I so often associate with her. Sounds like she's trying to say something quickly. Something painful. My parents don't like living here very much. Even though you have such a large house, they thought it'd be nice to live in the countryside. Peaceful. But I think they're quite impatient people. And that doesn't surprise me. I've always found Noelle's mother, with her pristine white blouses and brisk attitude, a little scary. So, you're leaving? Noelle picks a loose thread in her dress. I suppose so. Do you know when? Maybe when the house gets sold. Or maybe not. It may not get sold. My grandparents said new people aren't interested in moving here. Noelle nods briefly. The expression on her face suddenly seems so despondent, almost entirely devoid of life. I need to say something. How can I cheer her up? Do you know where you're moving? Do you want to move? Don't pry any further. I'm gonna ask her if she wants to move. I don't think she does. What? Unbidden, the words from my earlier conversation with Amu come back to the forefront of my mind. After I left, did Noelle not talk to anyone? No, I don't think so. Not after you left. She always seemed so hard to approach, so distant. I didn't know where to begin. So maybe she does want to move. I don't know. I mean, you think about it, you look at it. It's kind of a mixed thing here. That it doesn't look like she really made any friends. So it wouldn't be surprised if she wanted to move. But then maybe Noelle's family is moving because she hasn't made any new friends at school. Maybe she's lonely. And that's what I theorized with Nama earlier, when we were sitting together on the wooden bench in the small park. Maybe Noelle's lonely. Is that why she wants to move? It's a depressing thought. I know Noelle always liked it here, with all the forest and lack of crowds. She doesn't like busy places, but maybe she feels isolated here. She's never really gotten along with the other students at school. Or rather, it isn't as though she doesn't get along with them. She just doesn't talk to them. She doesn't have a bad relationship with her classmates. She doesn't have a relationship with them at all. When I think like that, I start to worry about Noelle. And when I get worried, I just start blurting out whatever comes to mind. You know what, guys? I think we'll continue this conversation with her next time. This is maybe not the best time to trying to stop off here, but it's a time nonetheless. Well, thank you all for watching this. Hopefully you're enjoying this. I'm enjoying to see what the hell happens here with her and where this story is continuing. Quite a mouthful. Lots of talking that I'm doing here. Well, guys, as I said, thanks for watching. You all have a great day.